Hey Nate, you heard that the Google Stadia developer slash director wants streamers to pay the developers of the game to stream the game? Yeah, he wants them to buy, he thinks that gamers should buy licenses in order to broadcast their games. So, I think it's a little dumb, but I can see that working with games like story mode games, like story driven games, where people usually like, you only really play it once, kind of like Dishonored. I mean, honestly though, I played Dishonored like multiple times, but let's say like a game like Minecraft, that game, people can play it so many different ways and stuff like that, that it doesn't make sense to have a license for that. Because someone can buy Minecraft and play it completely different from how I'm playing it. They can experience a whole different thing, whole new world, blah blah blah, mods, blah, whatever. But like with Dishonored, and this is like the I don't know how to say the word, like caveat of it, or like the I kind of see where he's coming from. If I stream Dishonored, okay, that story I know there's different parts of that story, but the Dishonored story only goes about one way. So once you kind of go through that story, you don't really need to play the game again, right? I just like playing Dishonored, so that's my thing. But like, you could essentially experience the story without having to buy the game. And that's where he's coming from. It's kind of like a movie. You know, you watch a movie once, unless you love that movie, you're not going to buy it and watch it again if you rented it or whatever. So for story mode games, the biggest example that I've seen someone say that, yeah, I can kind of understand is like with the Telltale games. You know, those games literally, you can't play it any other way, really, you know? So like, I think it's a dumb idea, don't get me wrong, I really do. I think it's dumb, but I get his point for story-driven games, but for any other multiplayer games, nah, I think it's dumb. I saw how much hate he got on it though, but I think people he didn't word it right, like he worded it very bad. But then again, Google Stadia is also a really dumb product, so it's not too surprising. He made it sound bad for sure. Yeah, he really did. And in a way it was bad, but at the end of the day, I you know, after looking into it and like hearing other people's reactions and hearing thoughts on crazy thoughts on both sides of the argument, I kind of see like middle ground, I think. I was talking about it with my friends, like, what about games that are free to play and how is that going to work if we need to pay to stream those free to play games? Well, free to play games wouldn't be covered under that. That would make no sense because if you're paying for a license, you're paying for the game. So it wouldn't be free to play anymore. Free to play games would be exempt from that. It's just like movies. Well, I guess you kind of still need a license for a movie you don't have to pay for, but I think, like I was saying, I think his main point that he was kind of going at, but worded very, very poorly, was like story-driven games. You should have to pay for a license to stream that. It's crazy. I don't think it's really ever gonna work out. Like, I don't think anyone's ever gonna be like, yeah, let's do that, because there's too much mutual gain right now on both sides between streamers and developers. But I do get where he was coming from, where, like, you know, I've played Dishonored 5 times on this channel, and I doubt anyone that's watched me play it has gone and been like, yeah, you know what, I want to go buy that game and play it now, because you already know, you know? Definitely a crazy thing. I don't think it was the right time to go about saying that with DMCA shit going on, but hey. I can just see that targeting recordings of the game that has been uploaded to YouTube, possibly. Well, yeah, that's what they would do. You know, if you needed a licensing, it'd basically be like DMCA, but for games. That's what that would become. But yeah, anytime you uploaded a game that you technically need a license for, just like how music, you need a license to play it, you would get a DMCA strike. Yes. There was something else, the way he worded it made it sound like streamers don't even buy the games, which is what set off the negative vibes they said earlier. Yeah. Basically, if you get, it was something to do with like streamers being given like early access or like free copies of the game so that they'll stream it and stuff, which causes I think it was like he was going on about something about it being an unfair market at that point. Like it's like a sleazy promotional thing without having to pay. Like the developers are taking advantage of the streamers and blah blah blah, and the streamers know it, but they're gonna get the money from the viewers donating and people watching them and stuff. So, what's technically, I mean, he's not wrong about that either, though. That's the worst part. He's not wrong about any of this. He just worded it very badly, and he picked a horrible time to come out with this stance because of the DMCA stuff and how everybody's reacting to that right now. Like, he couldn't have picked the worst time to do this. Think he should worry more about Stadia and how underperforming it's been? Yeah, pretty much. Agree with you on that one. Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. I get his points, but at the same time, it was badly worded and bad timing. Like, people are already freaking out about the music DMCAs, and you're just gonna come at them and be like, yo, man, maybe we should drop some video game licensing. It's like, what? Settle down there now, cowboy. I mean, all it would turn into is the stupid DMCAs like music bullshit. Yeah, pretty much. Well, it would stop growth on Twitch, like Twitch, and streaming would just be a pain. So the gateway into streaming right now is buying the hardware, you know, to stream, buying the internet so that you can stream. That's like that's the money gate right now. Now imagine if any game you wanted to stream, after buying all the equipment, all right, you now have to buy a license on top of that to play a game and stream it to, let's say like you're like me, you know, you're getting like 5 viewers a stream, and I now have to go and pay a license. Let's say I had to pay for a license to stream Minecraft. The license is probably gonna be like, I don't know, how much do music license? Let's say the license costs like $50, okay, for me to be able to stream it. Okay, well now I'm already out all the money to stream, and now I'm out the $50 just to play that one game on my stream, and I have to do that for every game. Well, why the fuck would I bother streaming? I'm gonna lose a shit ton of money. You know, people already lose money by streaming. It's not a profitable industry unless you're like the top like 5% in here. You know, I still don't get it though. What better way to expose your music? How many times have people asked about a song? Not a lot, but it's still exposed music we'd not normally hear. It's common sense. Yeah, and that's kind of why people think it's a little like the DMCA laws are outdated, and it's, yeah, you agree, or I agree. They are outdated and stuff. Someone actually, a YouTuber I watch, brought up a very good idea. I can't think of it. You buy a stream license for like an album, and it's like you work, you apply for it, and it basically goes off of like, it's like 0.03 cents that you have to pay per viewer or something like that. I forget what it is. But it was actually like, it was a really good setup where both sides would like profit margin off it fine. I feel it's just for control. They want to try and control it like in the record tape days. They're losing control and don't like it. Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's the same thing that happened to YouTube, and YouTube almost got shut down twice because of all this. Like, the record companies went after YouTube for that. I mean, really only like one of two things can happen, all right? Well, there's like 3 things that could happen with this, all right? 1, Twitch goes down. Twitch gets shut down, and it can happen. 2, Twitch starts issuing and going along with the DMCA shutdowns or DMCA notices and actually bans streamers that are doing this. That could potentially kill Twitch as well. I also find it funny because I've seen some Twitch streamers get interviewed about this, and they're like, you know, if Twitch bans me over this, I'll just go to like YouTube. And it's like, well, what do you think YouTube is going to do? You think just because you get banned off Twitch, you can go to YouTube and just, I'm no longer at risk of DMCA? No, that's not how that works, buddy. You're gonna get DMCA'd even harder on YouTube. So brilliance right there. It really shows the IQ of a lot of Twitch streamers. So that's funny. And then the other option, God, what options did I say? Twitch streamers get banned, Twitch gets taken down. Okay, the third option, Twitch makes an example out of like 2 or 3 streamers and then hope that the rest fall in line. Wonder if that was why Mixer suddenly shut down. They didn't want to spend the money to keep it going. Well, yeah, it was basically just, so basically what I heard from Mixer what? Why did that pause? What I heard about Mixer is basically they decided to shut down because Mixer was not being profitable. Twitch is still technically not even profitable to some extent, or Twitch, my bad. But Mixer wasn't, and basically Microsoft looked at it and was like, all right, well, Microsoft has a billion other products, let's say, and they're all profitable. So Microsoft as a corporation has now this one arm of it that is not profitable, and Microsoft is not, like, their whole stitch is not streaming. They don't really give a shit. They just bought it because they're like, oh, maybe we can make some money off of streaming and we can get into that industry, right? And they spend a shit ton of money on like Shroud and Ninja. Well, even after spending all that money on Shroud and Ninja, it still wasn't profitable. So Microsoft, being a corporation, business minded, we have a side branch that's not making us any money. Just end it. Cut it off. We're done. We don't want it anymore. This is not making them money. You know, they have a bunch of other products that, you know, that's making them a ton of money. They're not a streaming platform. You know, they're an IT platform. So they get rid of it. Which brings me to my other point. And this one's actually kind of crazy, but it does make sense when you look at it from that standpoint that I just said. So look at it this way now. All right. Amazon owns Twitch. Amazon does not make their revenue off of streaming. Amazon is it's like a sales company, essentially. They have the tech side of it, but they're mainly, Amazon is Amazon.com. That's how they make all of their money. So Twitch is literally like 1 to 5%. Not even that. It's probably literally like 1% of Amazon's income. So if Twitch, let's say DMCAs start going out, streamers leave the platform because they get banned, Twitch all of a sudden is no longer making money at all. Well, guess what Amazon is probably gonna do? And it's gonna look a lot like what Microsoft did to Mixer. It's unlikely though, because technically Twitch owns like 92% of the streaming market right now. But with apparently YouTube's been on the rise with their streaming. With the numbers that they're pulling, and they are predicted to like grow to at least like 30% of the streaming market within the next 2 years. Like, I think this past like 2 months, Valkyrie, she streams on YouTube under 100 Thieves. She's like one of the fastest growing streamers on in the world right now. I can't see Amazon shutting down Twitch, but I can also see Amazon shutting down Twitch. Especially if Twitch doesn't answer these DMCA issues fast enough, you know? And if Amazon doesn't shut them down, the fucking federal government's gonna shut them down.